Hey, so we had a viewer that asked for me to do a review of a video that they found. And I thought, well, why not? Let's just do a Treasure Valley Dave reaction video. Come along. Hey, everybody. Dave Edwards, Treasure Valley Dave here, your great real estate agent by your side when it comes time to buy a home, sell a home, or even relocate to the Treasure Valley. And you know, if you've been thinking about relocating to the Treasure Valley, you might just go onto YouTube and start checking out videos. And I've got some friends that do that. And my friend, she sent me this video link and she asked for my opinion on it. She didn't think it was very flattering of Nampa in particular, and she didn't think it was quite accurate either. And so, well, I have not seen it yet. So we're going to watch it together, and I'm going to give you my live reactions to what's going on. Shall we just get right into it? All right, so I think this is another real estate agent in town. I'm not sure, but let's see if we can find out.
People are leaving Nampa, Idaho after regretting their decision to move there. So we're going to talk about why they leave, where they are going, and how to avoid having this happen to you.
Yeah, you don't want it to happen to you.
My name is Brady Fagel, and I am a lifelong Boise local, and I'm also a real estate agent.
He is a real estate agent.
Now, why do people regret moving to Nampa, Idaho? Nampa is the third largest suburb of Boise. It is about 10 miles west of Boise, and last year was one of the fastest growing cities in the country. So you would think that correlates to people loving their decision to move to Nampa, but that's not always the case. Nampa is generally divided into three areas. In North Nampa, you have a lot of the new development with new builds and open spaces. Then there is the central and downtown Nampa, which has its issues we'll talk about. And then lastly, there is South Nampa, or the Lake Lowell area. All three of these areas of Nampa offer different pros and cons, which also means there are different reasons.
Well, so far I don't see anything unobjectionable. Yeah, there are different areas. I haven't really heard of them broke out exactly like that, but okay, well, let's see what this guy has to say about the cons of Nampa.
The downtown area is located here, which has become nicer over the years, but the big issue here is the crime and the safety concerns. Nampa is one of the least safe areas in the Boise area. You have small amounts of gang activity here. There's drugs and human trafficking and a much higher percentage of sex offenders than anywhere else in the valley. So for obvious reasons, people can regret moving here, but the problem
Nampa is one of the least safe areas
of these issues.
I'm not sure. Let's hear exactly how he backs that claim up.
If you don't have a great understanding of every area of Boise, or you have an agent or information that isn't the most helpful, people can move to a place without understanding the issues of that area. And this is probably the #1 reason people end up regretting where they choose to live.
All right. So yeah, crime is an issue, but crime isn't just an issue in Nampa. It's an issue every single place in the entire country. I have 3 people I've worked with in the past that are actually police officers on the Nampa PD, and they absolutely love it here. Yeah, there is stuff that goes on. I mean, we have a little over 100,000 people here, so something's bound to happen. But if you compare this to where you are, let's say you're in some place like, I don't know, Portland, Seattle, somewhere in California, when you come up here, you're going to see that there is nothing like the crime that you experience on an absolute daily basis. And it's just amazing. So one of my cop friends, you know, he's saying that it is so nice here. One is that the community absolutely supports the police and all their efforts. What's kind of interesting too is like, if there's some kind of a crime where they have some video footage of a person, but they don't know who it is, the police department will go ahead and post that on social media and ask for the community's help. And typically within a few hours, there's people on there that have identified who that bad person is. And so oftentimes that you'll see the Nampa police come back on social media and say, thank you so much. And it really is kind of a community effort to keep crime under control. So yeah, we do have crime here. But guess what? We have crime in Star. We have crime in Meridian. We have crime in Middleton. So let's move on and see what other reasons that people have for, I guess, leaving Nampa or Idaho.
One reason people end up regretting where they choose to live, they just weren't aware. We will talk about the areas people are going and what you can do to avoid this. And the other 2 areas of Nampa are much nicer and safer than the downtown or central part of Nampa and have similar regrets to each other. but they offer very different living. In North Nampa, you have a lot of new construction homes, and you have homes that are less than 10 years old.
Well, that's true. Yeah, we have a lot of houses up there on the north side. But what?
10 years old. And most of these are built by our lower end builders in the valley, which gives you great home affordability. CBH, Hayden Homes, Hubble, and Lennar are all great options, but it definitely gives you a first-time home buyer kind of family feel. But you're also only 5 minutes away from both the Garrity exit and the Karcher exit. Which
So that's why people are moving out of
Target
Nampa, is because they can buy
a huge shopping center, movie theater,
entry-level
and
homes
everything you
on
need
North
to-
Nampa. I
for
don't get
running
it.
errands. The last area of Nampa is the Lake Lowell region, this is an area with the higher end homes. So unlike the north section, this has a little bit more options for kind of luxury homes or higher end homes, acreage property, and what you could consider a wealthier or older community of people. It's a great place to live if you're okay with Nampa as a whole, more affordable options, but it is the longest commute times in the Nampa area. You are looking at 30 to even 60-minute drives into Boise, which can be a problem for some people.
Well, that's interesting. So one of the reasons that you might want to leave Nampa is because you picked a place that you already knew where it is and it's too far from work because you work in Boise. That is something that we can figure out ahead of time. It's like if you come to me and go, hey, Dave, I want to buy a house, but I don't want it on the too far away from work, and I live in downtown, I work in downtown Boise. So where would you suggest? Well, maybe the last place we'd suggest would be over by Lake Lowell, because like this guy says, yeah. So I don't understand how you could accidentally move there and then all of a sudden say, oh, it's too far away to drive into Boise, so I'm going to move to California. I'm not so sure I would buy that. And I'm not even sure that's what this guy's saying. I'm not sure he thought through, maybe it was a little bit of a clickbait headline. His title is Why People Are Leaving Nampa. Well, I haven't heard any reasons yet. Have you?
And then let's take a look at Nampa as a whole. The first thing has to be the smell. This is something that you will hear a lot. Nampa has a sugar beet factory, and it can create a less than ideal smell.
All right, so we got the smell. I'm sure that's all over the internet, and that's probably where this guy got his information. Guess what? It doesn't smell anymore. Earlier this year was when the new filtering mechanism that they put in place to, I'm not sure all the technical stuff, but they have, the bacteria or the microbes that used to eat stuff, and now they have a different process for that, and we don't get the smell anymore. If you're driving right by the sugar beet factory, right at the height of their processing, and you got your windows down, you will smell something that smells kind of like burnt peanut butter. But if you're 100 yards away, you're not smelling it. If you're in the nearest place that you could live has got to be, a mile away, you're really not going to smell it. So don't think that is going to be the reason that people move up here from California, let's say, and then all of a sudden they're driving by the sugar beet factory and height of production and their windows are down and go, oh, burnt peanut butter. I don't like this. Honey, let's load up the Wagoneer and let's head back to California where we can smell that nice fresh urine and poop on the sidewalks. That probably happens every single day. But he's just about ready to unveil the bigger one. So let's stick around and see what that's all about.
The bigger reason is the factories and the commercial properties in Nampa. It's a hub for warehouses, Amazon, and other factories that can kind of be an eyesore, and it adds to kind of that rundown feel that some of Nampa has. So people would rather live.
I'm going to have to call BS on that one. Yeah, we have a lot of factories and warehouses, and many of them are new, like within the last 5-10 years. And no, they're not run down. We don't have like a run down section. I used to be a truck driver. You might have seen or heard that on some of my previous videos, right? And I've been to some of those places where they have those warehouses up and down California, Oregon, Washington. And yeah, those are run down. And you don't want to, I didn't want to get out of my truck into some of those places. So what else do all these warehouses mean? Okay, one, investors are investing because they think that there's a reason that we need to have all these big warehouses and industrial space. So that means they have some kind of an idea that something's going on here. Two, something's going on here. There's employers that do manufacturing here. We have a lot of manufacturing jobs. We have the big shipping and receiving. As a truck driver, I would pick up loads here all the time and take them across the country. And also we have a lot of businesses here. So we have, places, we have jobs. Not only do we have jobs, they're not just, fast food jobs at McDonald's, like Trump had that one day. No, these are, good paying jobs. Oh, and the tax base. So one of the reasons that, we can kind of keep our property taxes down is because we have these businesses that come in and they take up a lot of property with buildings and parking lots and things like that. And guess what happens with all those? Well, they have to pay property tax. Everybody that works there, they probably live someplace and either they're paying property tax for their home or they're renting and then the landlord's paying property tax. So this economic activity that we have going on, an eyesore. I mean, I don't have a warehouse where I might buy my house. I don't look out my back window and see a warehouse, but you know what? I was able to make that choice before I bought my house. So when you give me a call and say, Dave, I find them warehouses to be a bit of an eyesore. And I go, okay, dude, what's your options? You want to load up the truckster and move back to California and look at all those people with their RVs and tents up and down your sidewalk, except for RVs because you can't buy RVs anymore in California. But be that as it may, or you're going to say, Dave, show me a place where I don't have a eyesore of a warehouse out my back window. I think we could probably do that. That'd probably be a little bit smarter solution. Let's hear what else he has to say.
People would rather live in Star or Meridian or Eagle where you have beautiful landscaping. The only commercial properties in these other suburbs are the restaurants and the shops for you to spend your weekends and evenings.
So in Star and Meridian, he was saying that the only commercial buildings, retail buildings that they have over there are shopping and restaurants. Okay. So you've got your kid and you're going to say, go get a job. And maybe that's absolutely fine. But what about you? If you needed a job, did you want to work in retail? Did you want to go around and restocking the shelves or do you want to go serve people? Or do you want a job that, that got a big company here? They got shipping, they got the receiving, they got inventory to take care of, production line work, various different things. Or do you want to go, would you like fries with that? And I don't think this is exactly accurate. I know for an absolute fact that they have all sorts of warehouse buildings over in Meridian. They do have industrial over there. And for this guy just to say, well, you might want to move over in Meridian because you don't have to look at industrial buildings. I want to put a flag on the play there.
Evenings. The next con is a double-edged sword. When Nampa was the fastest growing city and Boise was booming in 2021, every builder in the valley began construction in Nampa because it was the next hotspot and there was more land to buy and develop. While this was happening, Meridian and the other suburbs were they were building higher end homes to supply the demand that was coming in those areas. But this created a demand for affordable homes in Nampa. And so you couldn't find new construction homes in Meridian or Boise that were your typical starter, more affordable homes. They were all more kind of luxury builds. And then if you fast forward to today and the market has kind of cooled off, builders have started to build more affordable homes in Meridian and Kuna and Boise, which has caused home prices in Nampa to fall.
Wow. So you moved up here from California and you bought a house in Nampa and the prices are staying stable. They're not going up nearly as fast as they are in Meridian and over in Ada County. So that's going to make you move back. I'm not sure about that. I'm thinking this train's gone off the track someplace, but let's see where it goes.
I call this a double-edged sword because if you like Nampa or are okay with some of the reason people regret moving there, you can buy substantially more home or land than in the more desirable suburbs like Meridian. But if home prices in Nampa don't recover or they don't recover as fast, it could cause some regret down the line because
home prices haven't recovered in Nampa. I'm not sure what that means. They've been very stable and they've been inching up. Yeah, in 2021, everything was higher. And then sanity came back and all the prices came down about, 5-10%. But then ever since then, they've been going along pretty steady and just inching up. Now, the thing is, over here in Canyon County, which is your Nampa, Caldwell, Middleton. Prices have been going up like this. Over in Ada County, your Boise or Meridian, they've been going up like this. The only thing is Nampa's down here and Meridian and Boise, they're up there. Nampa is just right about at the national average for the price of a home. And Ada County, your Meridian, your Boise, they're about 125 to 150,000 more than the national average. So I'm not sure what this guy's saying is like, so now you moved to Nampa and you're mad because your prices didn't go up to what they are in Boise and Meridian. I'm not sure. Maybe he's saying that you moved to Meridian and he sold your house there and didn't tell you that prices were cheaper over in Nampa. Then you found out prices are cheaper in Nampa. And now you're thinking, oh my gosh, I need to move to Nampa because I can get more house, more space, more land for my buck. Or are you just going to like throw up your arms and just move back to California? I mean, that's what he's saying. People are leaving Nampa. People are leaving Nampa because houses are more affordable here.
No one wants a home that is either going down in value or it's only going up half the rate your friends and coworkers' homes are in Meridian or Cuna.
He's saying that the prices he's saying that your friends got houses over in Ada County and they're going up higher and you're in Nampa and you're mad. So that would make you want to leave Nampa and go to Ada County and spend a lot more and get smaller house and less land? I think there's a disconnect here.
And thankfully, I think this is temporary, and I believe Nampa will start to head back up in the next year or 2 years, but there is a small risk there. But the biggest reason people regret moving to Nampa and the biggest...
All right, I think we're right here at the big finale. He just said the biggest reason... Da-da-da. Let's find out what the biggest reason is together.
The biggest reason people who are locals would never move there is a combination of everything I mentioned, and it all combines to just create a feel and atmosphere that is less than ideal. I mean, don't get me wrong, Nampa can be a great for some people.
So the main reason that everybody's leaving is a culmination of all the things that he's talked about. So what did he talk about? He talked about Nampa has absolutely fantastic, great economic activity going on with manufacturing and warehouses and jobs and tax base and places for you and for your kids to find meaningful employment. Whereas over in Ada County, they have, as he said, retail jobs and restaurant jobs. He also said that houses over in Ada County, Meridian, are a whole lot more expensive than they are in Nampa. So that would be a reason that you'd want to leave Nampa because your house is cheaper, maybe you have more land, and you can move to Ada County to have less house and less land and pay more. And he also said crime, because we only have crime in Nampa. No, we have crime in every city. There's crime everywhere. But I know for an absolute fact, because I have friends on the Nampa PD, that when they compare this to like maybe what I'm more used to from when I used to live in California way back when, we have nothing here as far as crime. You don't even see graffiti. If you're driving around and you see graffiti, I want to say maybe once, twice an entire year, you would be lucky because you're not going to see it that often. You don't see the gang stuff. You don't go by the high school and there's not chain link fences with razor wire on the top like there is in every high school in California, unless they're behind some gated community where all the rich liberals live. But you probably wouldn't want your kid going there. So let's see how he brings this all together.
I've lived there for a number of years and it has some amazing opportunities. But some people can move there from out of state, live there for a year, and then they spend more time in Meridian, Star, Cuna, Eagle, and they realize that those suburbs just have a better feel. They seem cleaner and they seem safer because they don't have the crime that Nampa has or the trash or the just rundown feel. And the other...
All right, I'm going to give him partial credit on this one. Let's say you've moved up here and then you're going to say, oh, the crime's so much less over in Meridian. That is not going to happen. But what I will say is that there is a different feel. And every community up here in the Treasure Valley has a different feel. Caldwell, for instance, is very country. You could wear your cowboy boots, cowboy hat, and you will fit right in. It's very, very family oriented. Their downtown area is just absolutely fabulous for families with their outdoor skating rink and their plaza, and the Wiggles are playing up on stage or whatever, SpongeBob the musical. That's what it was I saw. But in Nampa is a little bit more It's bigger. It's got all the shopping. It's got some hustle and bustle, especially around the time school gets out in the afternoon. So, I mean, you will come across a little bit of traffic here and there, but it doesn't take all day to get across town. Have you ever tried to get across Sacramento? Oh my gosh. So what else? But we do still have that very much a small town feel. We have our hub of the old town down there by the train depot. We've got the big old Christmas tree up right now. And it is very much a small town feel here in Nampa, a little bit of a rural feel. I won't say country like you get in Caldwell, but it's big enough to have everything you need. It's small enough that it has that small town feel. And then they have Middleton. Middleton's here in Canyon County, and it has an entirely different feel too. It has a very, very small town feel because it does have a very, very small town. But it doesn't have that small downtown feel like where you're in Nampa, where you have all these old buildings, 100 years old, 2-story brick, with the little boutique stuff, restaurants sitting outside. You don't have that in Middleton. You just have a older, smaller agricultural town. Over in Meridian, you have what feels kind of like California from 30 years ago. You have a lot of hustle and bustle. You have some traffic. You have all sorts of places to go shopping and eating, as this guy was telling you. It's pretty cool. And if you're coming from California, you like that California vibe from 30 years ago, Meridian's probably the place for you. But then if you go into Boise, Boise has a more of a like an artistic vibe. If you go downtown, I mean, it is the capital city. We have the big university. So you have kind of that vibe. I hate to say the Portland vibe, maybe the Portland vibe from 30 years ago, or the Seattle vibe, where you have like these little boutique places with the coffee and the micro beers and stuff like that, and music all the time. And but it still closes up like 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. The streets are just dead. But every different community here in the Treasure Valley does have a different feel. And you can actually check out my relocation magazine. I didn't mean to put a plug in here, but it breaks down each of the towns. You can start to get a feel for that. Or go to my website, because I have different magazines I put together for the different towns, and you can check those out and download those. But he's right. You do get a different vibe depending on where you are in the Treasure Valley.
And the other suburbs seem nicer and just mesh with what people want more because of places like the Village in Meridian, the Boise River and Eagle, the small town community of Kuna. So after a year of living in Nampa, people wish they had lived in these other suburbs. This is why it's so important to pick the correct suburb and have someone by your side who has lived here.
Well, he's absolutely right there. It is important to pick the right suburb, the right town, the right community, the right subdivision. I mean, you could be in one subdivision and 5 blocks away is a different subdivision. You'll get a totally different feel. And that's why you do want to have somebody helping you out. When we moved up here, we didn't have an agent. We didn't have anybody to ask these questions to. And then so we moved up here. We rented for 9 months and we checked everything out. And that's one way to do it. And it's not a bad way to do it. You do have to move twice. You do spend a lot of money on rent and moving twice. I tell you about that part, packing twice. If I had to do it over again, I would find a great agent like me and Maureen to ask these questions. So let them ask me questions about, hey, what is it I want? What kind of feel do I want? And then I would come, I'd spend a week. Doesn't even have to be a week. You come up here on a long weekend and we drive around and we check out different communities and we talk with you and we really kind of hone in on what it is that you would like. And maybe it doesn't really matter what kind of community you're in. You're more geared towards, can I get the house at the price I want? And that's absolutely fine. Or maybe your budget has a little bit more cushion and you'd like to have, a half an acre or an acre and a house that's, very comfortable and very spacious. That's something that we're going to talk with you about and get you into the right place. We don't want you to come up here and not know what you're getting into. And then you say, gosh, you know what? I need to move back to California. So is it important that you know what the different areas are like up here? It absolutely is. Have we had people that moved up here sight unseen? We absolutely have. So how is it that we can, make that something like that possible? Maureen and I are really into video. We go out and we take videos of places for you, not just the house. And by the way, when you see the pictures on the internet of a house, those pictures can be a little deceiving. A great video as we're walking through the house, pretending that you're right there with us. We're looking in the cupboards and everything like that. That's really helpful. Then we take the video and then we go and we walk around the yard. We walk around the neighborhood. We drive around your community. We drive is what's important to you. It's like getting to shopping. We'll take a video from your place to the shopping. You get a real hands-on feel for what it's like to live there. And then by the time you get up here, it's like, no big deal. You already are so well aware of it. So that's what kind of makes Maureen and I a little bit different is that, one, we both moved up here and from someplace else. We went through that whole relocation process. And two, we know how important it is to have someone that you can ask those crazy questions to and someone's going to shoot those videos for you. That's where we really shine. So I'm really thankful that my friend sent this video link to me and asked me to do a review on this. If you guys like this review and you want to have me do some more, hey, send me some links. I'd be glad to do it. Well, thanks for stopping by. And if you want to learn more about what Nampa's really like, check out this video I did recently about just driving around town. See what you think. Do you see all that graffiti? Do you see all them gangs out there? You tell me. Guess what? We're going to see you on the next video.